Good evening, everyone, and I wish you all a very, very happy autumnal season. In just a few hours, I think at around 2:30 tomorrow morning, the autumnal equinox is occurring. This is the time of year where the amount of daylight equals the amount of darkness, one of the two times per year, the autumnal equinox and the spring or vernal equinox. I'm delighted that you have decided to join us this evening, or if you're going to watch the recording at a later time, because this is an important turn of the seasons. We love these celestial events, the autumnal equinox, the winter solstice, the vernal equinox, and the summer solstice, because they offer this wonderful opportunity to reflect and to intend for the next few months. So we're going to do this a little bit differently than we do our usual meditations. We are going to first, as we always do, set an intention for this evening's experience. We are going to learn a little bit more about the autumnal equinox, and then we are going to invoke the elements and pull tarot cards from each of the suits that represents each of the elements for a 4-card reading for everyone that is tuning in response to whatever question or intention that you are setting this evening. So let us do that now. Let us just make a few moments before we move any further to set an intention or to ask a question of the 4-card reading that we will have in the next couple of minutes. So grab a little piece of paper and a pencil or pen if you would like, and you can jot down your intention on that little piece of paper, and then you can hold it in the palm of your hand as we move through this evening where we honor the autumnal equinox. Holding it in the palm of your hand adds energy to it. I will gather the energy in a proxy slip of paper, and then we will send it out into the flames, into the universe, to return to each of us whenever it is the time for it to respond to each of us individually. So we have one reading of 4 cards for everyone that is joining either on the live stream or the recording, and we are setting those intentions and sending them out so that you can have them returned to you in the next season, and you'll know exactly when you've received your answer or the guidance that you are seeking. So, Reverend Rabba Nashak, as you can see on the screen, and let us just set an intention or ask a question for the reading this evening, and let's do that now. All right, I have written the words, everyone's intentions, on this little slip of paper, and that will be used to gather all of the energy. Now, don't put that pen and paper away yet. So we've asked a question of our reading, and we're going to ask another question. We're going to ask you to write something else down for yourself for this evening only. The autumnal equinox is about balance when we have the equal amounts of daylight hours and darkness hours. And so it is that time to release what we no longer need, but it is also the time to invite that which we would like to experience in this season before the winter solstice arrives. So, two words. I would like you to jot down something that you are releasing this season. And then I would like you to also jot down something that you are intending to receive this autumn. So, we're thinking tonight, we are reflecting, we are giving guidance to the universe for our autumnal season. And again, something about yourself or something in your life that you are choosing to release now. It no longer serves you. At the same time, let us, like cleaning out our closets, whenever we bring one thing in, we've got to set something else out. So we're sending something out. What are in that does seek to serve us and our highest good? So what are we releasing? What are we receiving? And let us also, again, like the other intentions, hold on to that, keep it close to you. We will send those out into the universe as well. So what are we releasing? What are we receiving? Once again, I'm going to write another slip that says everyone's intentions, those intentions to release and retention and intentions to receive. And that is right here. My writing is hard to read, but you get the idea. Right. So we've done our little bit of homework. And now I would like to just read a little bit about the autumnal equinox, what it means for us, what the opportunities are available to us, and how we can make the most of these next few months. I'm going to read from and show you the card from this beautiful deck of cards that we would use on our Wednesday evening meditations. This is called the Earth Magic Deck, and I have already pulled up that card for us to all look at. The theme for the autumnal equinox in this deck of cards is release. So we've thought about what we're going to release, what no longer serves us. Let us hear more about the equinox and what it symbolizes and how we can make the most of it. Release. The autumnal equinox. In many areas of the world, deciduous trees prepare for winter and conserve their energy by contracting their force. That is, they release their leaves, which have required the rays of the sun and nourishment from the earth in order to maintain robust growth and appearance. Not a decision the trees make, or at least not in the usual sense. Instead, it's a natural response to a decreasing cycle of light that sets up the gradual and steady release of the tree's leaves. How remarkable is it that these trees, and for that matter, all of Earth Mother's children, simply know what to do with the changes in climate. Although this seasonal shift appears to be a death of sorts, it's only a preparation for the next cycle of life, one that will naturally flow for more extreme contraction of winter I'm sorry, one that will naturally follow the more extreme contraction of winter as an aspect of the life, death, rebirth cycle that we find represented in so many different ways. Now is the time to let anything in your life fall away that is no longer useful or needed for the emerging expression of who you are. Allow yourself to gradually shed what has become burdensome and no longer congruent with your soul's purpose. Conserve your energy by allowing yourself more rest while at the same time making preparations for the winter season. Look especially at your material possessions and be brutally honest with yourself as you discern which of these can be given away or somehow released. Consider shedding relationships that have served their purpose and are no longer viable, as well as work or a job that has become devoid of interest and passion. With release comes a sense of being much lighter, just like the trees that openly bare their nakedness once their leaves have departed and give room for whatever new life is ready to birth following a period of quiet and gestation. So let go of whatever has outlived its purposefulness and trust that something will take its place. Well, as we've done tonight, we're going to do more than trust. We've articulated something that we envision taking its place. Now, of course, this or something greater. So we've given the universe, we've given our deep self more information in order for our deep self, the universe, to respond and to help. So what we are releasing, what we are receiving, something that is going to be taking its place. And that's very, very exciting. So, as we move through this season, I encourage everyone to think about the balance of this day. This is what this is about. Something goes out, something comes in. And then as we move forward, the intentions that we've set, something that we want in the next few months before the winter solstice to accomplish by the time it arrives. Now, this is also a time of harvest. This is the time where all the crops that have been planted in the spring, all the ideas that we set aside, that we set forth in the spring, are also ready to be harvested. So as we think about that balance as day equals night on the equinox at 2:30, roughly 2:30 or 2:20 tomorrow morning, in just a few hours, we also want to remember that we are preparing for the winter months, for the long cold, for that time of gestation where spring is our rebirth. But we are also harvesting, looking at all those ideas that we planted the last time the seasons changed, spring and in the summer. And we are looking at what we have achieved, what we've accomplished, those things in our life that have come to fruition, that are ready to be uh, uh, harvested and also enjoyed. So we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor, the fruits of our ideas. The creative spark is yielding its manifestation. So a lot to think about in the next few months. And here on this beautiful, very fall-like Friday evening, we're doing that. We're just applying a little focus so that we can be successful in the next few months. So this is exciting. For our next step, we're going to do a little reading together. I'm going to draw cards from a tarot deck that represent each of the elements and the directions that the elements are aligned with, as well as those cards. So we're going to draw one card each from the east, which represents the air, one card from the south, which represents fire, one card from the west, which represents water, and one card from the north, which represents the earth. All of those cards together, when we see the story that they are telling, are going to be our reading, our individual reading, to respond to the question that we've sought. but it's going to be a reading that we all get to view at the same time, thanks to the magic of technology. So I'm going to turn us over. You're going to get an aerial view of the table below us and the altar that is right next to me, and we can begin our reading. And there it is. There it is. So I'm just going to invoke each of the elements before we draw this evening. And let us just take a deep breath together. And tonight we call upon the spirits of air. We ask that the spirits of air bless all of our thoughts, direct them to be thinking right thinking, to be choosing and planning for the best possible outcomes for ourselves. Allow those thoughts to be gentle, allow those thoughts to be productive, allow those thoughts, most importantly, to be loving. This we ask, O spirits of air. Moving now to the south, we call upon the spirits of the south. We ask them to light the fire in our souls, to ignite our passion, to give us the inspiration to move forward with the creativity in our lives that is aligned with spirit. Help us to become more engaged and more passionate about what we care for and how we choose to spend our time in our activities and our relationships. We thank you, spirits of fire. We now ask you once again to invoke our fire. Moving on to the west, O spirits of water, we ask you to help us flow through this season. We ask you to help us not resist the flow of our energy, the flow of our emotions, the flow of our connections. We ask you to once again allow kindness and compassion to flow through our lives. We understand that all is cyclical, that the tides flow in and the tides flow out. And we ask you, spirits, to help us see all of the tides as being miraculous parts of the flow in our lives. We thank you, spirits of the water and of the west. Finally, we look to you, O spirits of the north, O spirits of the earth. We ask you to help us see that we are enough, that we have enough, that our material life is one of abundance that is reflective of how we choose to see that life. Help us to see all of the material blessings that we have in our life. Help us to understand our abundance and help us to grow more of that abundance simply by sharing and giving as we receive. We thank you, O spirits of the north, for our wonderful material abundance, those of the earth. And so let us draw our cards together. I'm going to shuffle our cards from the east, represented by the suit of swords. Turn off some of that flickering for you. I'm shuffling them. Just gonna take you back to me one quick second. So here we are, I'm shuffling the cards. We're gonna draw the top card as we always do. That represents all of us. The top card in this tarot deck for tonight is the Four of Swords. 4 of Swords is our first card in our reading. We're going to draw all of them, and then we're going to put together the reading. Next, let us draw cards from the South. The Fire, represented by the Suit of Wands. I'm shuffling. And we're going to draw the top card. As you can see, it is the 8 of Wands. So far we've got the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Wands. I'm going to lay this down. You'll see it in 1 second. We're moving to the west. We are going to draw our card from the west. So let us do that now. I'm shuffling, as you can see. And we're going to draw that top card, as we always do. And we have drawn the King of Cups. The King of Cups. I'm going to show all of these to you on the altar. And last but not least, let us draw from the north. And let us draw the card that represents the earth. As you can see, I'm shuffling. All right, our top card is the 8 of Discs. Beautiful. All right, so let's do a little reading, shall we? There you can see the cards. I'm going to move the flowers so we can put all of the cards in order. You can see them there. 4 of Swords. 8 of Wands. King of Cups. The 8 of Discs. All right, let me see if I can help you see these cards just a little bit better. Good, getting there. All right, I think this is tall as I can get it for us. We are using a card deck tonight called the Patch Tarot deck. It is published by Spirit Science, which is it was a YouTube channel, and it is a group that runs a mystery school, and they became noted for the beautiful animations of explanations on a variety of topics using the animated character Patch. And so I suggest that you check out YouTube and see if you can see some great Spirit Science videos. See if we can turn the lights on. You can see it a little bit better when we stop shaking. All right, so let's read. Let's read. So we're going to start with the 4 of Swords. So the word on this card, the theme is respite. Respite. So this is the time to pause and reflect. So whatever we've set an intention for, I think what we need to start with is that respite. So, are we taking the time to fuel ourselves, to rest, to prepare ourselves for the event or the journey ahead, for the manifestation of what we have intended? So, it requires us to be still, to nourish ourselves, to um, be rested, to engage the support that we need to have this and manifest this experience that we have intended for ourselves. So, this is where we start. We start with the respite that we need. And as we move on, we can see that the Eight of Wands, its theme, its identity, its message for us in this reading is shift. So once we have prepared ourselves by ensuring our nourishment and rested, we can be prepared for something to change. This is not a shift that we are going to have to make. It is going to come directly out of the pause that we've taken in that respite, that time that we've reflected. Perhaps this is the start of that respite, the time that we have prepared, set our intentions, nourished ourselves, means that a fundamental shift is going to be taking place not externally, but internally. All of the preparation that we have been doing to move forward in our journey or for this event will happen once the shift has happened from the inside. So again, rest, respite, nourishment. Once that happens, we can look for and become very aware of the shift that is taking place within us, so that we can continue on this journey of manifestation and bringing forth our intention. The King of Cups that we see, the word that we see, I don't know how close you can see that card, is responsive. This makes perfect sense for us, for in our quest, in our journey, in the experience that we seek. The world is responding to how we have come thus far. So we have been prepared. We have waited for that shift to take place before we move forward. And what has happened in our universe is it is responding to those preparations. The path is clearing. The flow has been activated. This comes directly from the experience that we've had with the shift, and of course, with our first experience of respite and reflection. And then moving on finally to our Eight of Discs, we've got two eights here. Again, a lot of balance taking place. We've got a shift and we've got diligence. And so while we called upon the Eight of Wands to make us aware of a shift taking place internally, we're also seeing that once the universe begins to respond, once the flow has been activated, we need to be diligent in our pursuit. We need to keep conscious of the plans that we have set forth. We need to continue moving forward despite what challenges may come our way. And as you can see in this last card, we see our lead character, the Patch character, with the sun above his head and with the flowers blooming all around him, which represents the harvest, the blooming of this manifestation, this intention come to life that we have sought. So all of these cards very, very reflective of a beautiful opportunity and journey awaiting us in this autumn season. We make the time to nourish ourselves. We allow the shift to take place. We feel the flow and the universe begin to respond. The barriers are clear. We are flowing. we are refreshed, we are open, as the cups always signify that we are. And finally, what is required of us is diligence. It doesn't necessarily have to be a diligence of toil or a great deal of labor, but it does have to be a diligence of ideas, a diligence of spirit. When we remain focused, when we continue to maintain our rituals, and most importantly, to keep the dream alive in our minds, then our manifestation can take place. So, this diligence is one of spirit, one of determination, not necessarily one of lots of toil, though it may include that, it may not. But again, this entire reading really is about a mind set in ourselves. Can we see, feel the shift? Can we be in a place where our perspective sees the responsiveness of the universe around us from our thoughts and our actions? And most importantly, can we have diligence of spirit where we see the end game, where we've got our eye on the prize, despite any challenges that we have received, so that we can joyously recreate or experience that manifestation that we have sought. So I hope that makes sense to you in that reading, those beautiful 4 cards. And so, as we do with our Wednesday evening meditation, let's just make a few moments to think about our intention and the ones that we put forth, which we are releasing, that which we are receiving, and of course what the plan might be for us that we also set apart in these slips of paper that we have created for ourselves, or if you've written it down or if you've just thought about it or kept it in your thoughts. So if you could hold those ideas, those reflections, those intentions in your hand, whether they are on paper or not, and just cup them together nicely and find a place where you can relax and reflect. We are going to just meditate a bit and allow the universe to speak to us, give us a little more information that unites both the draw that we just did of the cards with our intentions. And that's going to be a very personal conversation. So relax, hold those intentions on those slips of paper or in your imagination close to you, and let us just take some deep breaths together and begin to go into the stillness just for a few moments. So let's inhale, exhale, inhale again, and exhale, and just allow your eyes to close. Just allow those eyes to flutter shut. I'm going to keep the cards up so that you can see them if you choose to look. But let's just allow that breathing to return to a natural but intent full state. And with each of the tones, with each of our breath, we become more and more relaxed. And as we go deeper into ourselves, as we become more and more relaxed, I invite you to reflect on what you set out as intentions and reflect on how our message tonight of respite and shift and responsiveness and diligence applies in your own life in response to the intention that we've set. And as you do this, imagine there's a spark deep inside you where your heart chakra is. Imagine that spark glowing. More and more brightly. And as that spark grows more and more bright, imagine feeling the warmth of that spark as your deep self, your loving, wise, childlike deep self. And imagine that spark of your deep self enveloping you as an essence. And as it envelops you, you are aligned with your deepest self, with your best self, with your highest version of yourself. And as that highest version of yourself, communication flows effortlessly, without words, or without necessarily words. Maybe it's words for you, but communication is happening now. Images, ideas, inspiration. You are aligned, we are aligned with our deepest self. And allow that communication to flow. Allow yourself to receive the information that you need or that you've asked for from your deep self as part of this experience this evening. And I'm just going to let you have that discussion, that communication now for the next few moments. And this effortless exchange has yielded such magic, such opportunity, such possibility for the coming months ahead. We are strengthened, we are energized, we are inspired by the experience of engaging and communicating with our deep self, with our highest version of ourself. And with that information, with the advice, with the guidance we have received, let us begin to return to our physical bodies. Just gently, don't jar yourself back. Start by remembering that you are breathing and have been breathing deeply. That breath, as it comes in through our nose and out through our mouth, has been our tether, has kept us, as it does every moment of every day, alive. And as we recognize that breath, as we choose to be conscious of it, we feel our body begin to fill in. Where we imagined it disappearing, so we imagine our feet returning and our legs and our knees and thighs and our hips and waist moving up through our chest. Everything is just rematerializing into our physical space. More and more, our shoulders return, our arms and our hands, our neck, and our chin, and our teeth, and our nose, and lips, and our cheeks, our ears, our forehead, and our crown. We are back in our bodies. Let us return completely by taking three quick breaths. Inhale and exhale quickly. Inhale again and exhale quickly. And one more deep breath. Inhale and open your eyes. Well, yes, what a way to kick off our fall, our autumn. Thank you for joining us. As I promised, we are going to send our intentions out into the universe. I'm going to start with the first intention that we set, our plan for the autumnal season. Let's see if you can watch it burn. We'll go back to the card shot there. So lighting it up. Letting it go. Now let's do that again. This is everyone's intentions right there. Everyone's intentions. That's everyone's intentions right there. This is for the first one. Let us send it out into the universe, lighting it together. And now we are releasing the second part, those things that we are choosing to receive and release. This in mind. I'm going to send yours next. Everyone's intentions right here out into the universe together as a community. Off they go. And off we all go into this new season ahead. So I thank you for joining us tonight, whether you are joining live on the stream or joining the recording. I hope that you make the very most of this autumnal equinox. I hope that you were able to go into the stillness, find out more information, and most importantly, to focus yourself as I'm trying to focus myself for the coming months and really feel that sense of movement and journey and accomplishment again with our reading of what did we have? We had respite, we had shift, we had responsiveness, and we had the diligence that we need. So, with all those in mind, let us go forth into the autumn. See if you can wake yourself up around 2:20, 2:30. I forget exactly what exact time is it. See if you can feel the power of that that balance, that equal parts day and night. Have a great one. And we will see you next Wednesday for our weekly meditation.